Hey, what's going on? Keith from Trigger Happy. I'm going to take a look at a CZ75 P-07 Duty. I have reviewed this gun in the past, and it's kind of sitting here cleaning the gun tonight after shooting it quite a bit over the weekend. And just kind of want to share some of my impressions with you after I've shot about 1,000 rounds through this gun. So I've got quite a bit of trigger time with it, and I've got some things, kind of wanted to hit, some highs and lows with this gun. Basically, the things I liked about this gun when I initially was interested in it, I still like about it now. I still think it has a really nice trigger in it for this ballpark price gun. I think it still has a really nice feel, a nice grip angle, a good feeling to the grip itself. It handles really well, and it's a really accurate gun, when you get right down to it. So the things that really initially I liked about it, I still like. Kind of want to show you how the trigger is kind of held up over the 1,000 rounds. The double action is still pretty darn long and hard, but it has loosened up a little bit. It's definitely not as hard of a pull as it was. So I will say that has got somewhat better. The single action is it's not bad. Here's the single action pull. There is definitely some bring up here to it, and that may have actually gotten slightly worse, but not noticeable at all when you're out shooting it. So the trigger is still got a really nice crisp break to it. It's a light pull, no real complaints there. So I still think the trigger is great. And again, the feel of the gun, the way it fits in my hand, I have no complaints with whatsoever. I've been very happy with that. In terms of the reliability of the gun that after 1,000 rounds or so, I do shoot this gun in our local IDPA matches quite a bit. I've shot it pretty much all summer, and I've had only 2 issues that I'll get to in a minute. But as far as, IDPA is more of a scenario-based shooting. You're not really standing still and just firing at targets. You're on the move, you're reloading, you're drawing from concealment. So it kind of gives you some real-world feel for how the gun would perform. And I gotta say, it's performed well. It shoots a pretty tight group at the distances that we're generally shooting at, which is between 5 and 15 yards at the most, and it is really done well. The 2 issues I've had a couple times where the trigger will not reset into single action. So essentially, you fire the gun, and then it stays in a double action mode. So the trigger, or the hammer, I'm sorry, is not resetting back and staying back to where you'd fire the gun in single action. Now it still fires fine in double action, and I'm not sure why that has happened 2 different times. Could be my issue. Maybe I was limp wristing the gun or something like that, and it didn't fully reset the hammer. That's very possible, but it's happened on 2 occasions. As far as the gun itself, whether it's had any ammunition failures or anything, none whatsoever. I've fired a variety of different ammunition through this, some junk cheap stuff and some really good stuff, and it has handled it all fine. Hollow points as well as full metal jacket. I've had no issues whatsoever with that. So, after 1,000 rounds, do I still approve the gun? Yeah, I do. I kind of judge all my pistols on my gold standard, which is my Springfield XD40, and I've had this gun and shot thousands of rounds through this gun, and I have never had an issue with this gun. So everything I shoot, I kind of base on this, and if it holds up to this standard, then it's a pretty good gun. These still are not flashy pretty guns, but man, they do work. So I'm not there yet. I wouldn't say absolutely I'm 100% sure that this gun is going to function every time, but so far, other than a couple slight hiccups with the hammer not resetting, that's really all I've had. So it's just kind of jarring when you're used to that slight pull of the single action, and then your gun goes into double action, and you're kind of like, what the heck just happened? I've never had to say that with the Springfield, but I have had to say it a couple times with this gun. I do prefer the feel of this over the XD and a lot of other guns I've shot, so I'm still, still going through it, seeing what I think about it, but so far so good. One other minor complaint to this thing is a real pain to clean. I talked in my earlier reviews that the slide rides inside, still got a little oil here, the slide rides inside the frame, kind of a reverse of what most guns are. And there's just a lot of little nooks and crannies, both in the gun frame itself as well as the slide, that just get full of a lot of junk. And it's a pain to clean, a lot more so than a lot of other guns that you might be run into, like Glock or Smith & Wesson or a Springfield XD. It's a minor complaint, but nevertheless, it seems to always take me about twice as long to clean this gun as it does others, just for that reason only. The other thing that I would like to see them do, this decocker, you have the choice of having either a decocker or a safety. It comes with both in the kit. I would like to see it where it's both on the gun at the same time, where I don't have to choose one or the other. I would like to have the option of having it cocked and locked, and you just can't do that. You've got to either pick the decocker or the safety, and right now I've got the decocker, and I might change my mind and go to the safety. We'll see. But something I would like to see is that incorporated where I could go with both options there at the same time, basically. But again, really like the CZ. This is CZ75 P-07 Duty. If you want some of my earlier reviews or where I compare this gun to the full-size 75 BD, which is the steel frame version, you can find them there. I'll try to link them in the video as well. So check it out. Again, Keith from Trigger Happy. Thanks a lot.